Howdy guys, Bookie Laura here. April has been another stonking reading month for me. I managed to read up masses of books and I'm really pleased with the progress that I've made, so I'm going to tell you about those books that I've read. In April I read a grand total of 1,915 pages, which is my most successful reading month so far this year. Woohoo! That was largely down to the fact that I read an absolutely epic book that was massive, Passage by Justin Cronin, which is about 960 odd pages, and my word did I feel every single one of them. I've never been a fan of long books and I've always been quite nervous when I come to read them, but I always seem to give it a go. I think, oh, I'll just give it a go. And they start well and then I just lose interest. And this was really similar. I really enjoyed the writing style. There was something about it that really drew me in. I never wasn't skim reading at all. I just was really interested in the story. But then it just sort of got slower and slower and slower and I was struggling to convince myself to keep reading. I can't help but feel that these kinds of books, they're sort of epics. There's something about the narrative, the fact that it's a slow build-up and there's lots and lots of characters and character building that just doesn't appeal to me. And I think I've learnt that. It's not necessarily the size of the book, it's more to do with the way that a larger book is told. It just isn't that appealing to me. I like a roller coaster ride, and you don't get that in longer books. So it was okay and I enjoyed it, but wouldn't be reading the rest of the series. After that I read Norsu Crosses by Malorie Blackman. As I said previously, I read the graphic novel version because I had already read it but wanted to recap it before I crack on with the rest of the series. I'm really glad that I did, because it was, although the main concept was how I remembered it, there were lots of things that I had forgotten, lots of quite significant events that I've been unaware of. So I feel that actually now I do recall the story and I'm in a really good place to carry on the series. I really love the issues that it explores, the racism issues and what have you, and I'm definitely going to carry on with the rest of the series. I picked up Noughts and Crosses at the library, and at the same time I picked up the book which I read next, which was Requiem by Lauren Oliver. This is the third book in the Delirium trilogy and I was really excited to read it, to finish it off. Every time I go to the library, I've been looking for this book and finally it was there, so I was really eager to read it. I found that I really quickly got back into the plot and the characters. Sometimes when I'm returning to a book that's part of a series, I find that I have to go online and remind myself what's happened. I have a terrible memory. But this I didn't need to. I remembered the plot and I remembered what was going on, so that was really handy. As with the rest of the series, it was a really fast read. I felt gripped by the story and always had that desire to keep reading. I felt it was a good end to the series. It was very similar to the rest of the books and gave me an ending that made me feel complete. Sounds a bit cheesy, but it did. And actually I'm really interested in reading more from Lauren Oliver, so if you know anything, I know that Before I Fall seems to be quite highly rated, so I'm quite interested in that. After that I decided to continue my Devon holiday theme by reading Harper Lee on holiday, so I read Go Set a Watchman, because last year I read To Kill a Mockingbird. Not going to lie, I found this hugely disappointing, which is a complete opposite to how I felt about To Kill a Mockingbird. To Kill a Mockingbird I felt was a huge surprise for me. I sort of expected it to be quite intense, more feel like hard work, classic literature, but it didn't. It read like a fantastic story with really strong positive messages, whereas this just was a bit meh for me. It was okay, but I think I had high expectations of it and it just didn't live up to those. A lot of the book felt like some weird nostalgia trip, that we were actually just remembering the time of To Kill a Mockingbird rather than it being a story in its own sense. It didn't feel like it had enough plot behind it. And finally, the final book that I read this month, I'm delighted to tell you about, is not what it says on the front. It is The White Road by Sarah Lotz. I was lucky enough to receive this copy pre-release so that I could review it. I will be reviewing it in detail. However, I'm delighted to tell you that I gave it 4 stars. It's a good read and I highly recommend it, particularly if you're into mountain climbing. So those are the books that I've read this month. Quite an eclectic mix, if I do say so myself. I think I'm quite pleased to be reading a range of genres, and I think that next month that will be deteriorating quite significantly into a massive YA fix. But never mind. Look out for the TBR soon. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.